Welcome back, everyone. When we left off last time, I had just hit level 41 in Guck. We decided to switch it up and head to our next location, Sol B. We loaded up a difficulty 2 group instance of this zone and started heading deeper into the volcano. We wanted to hit at least one more level before taking on the group version of Lord Nagafen in the raid instance, so we began taking down imps on the way to the Ifriti Lord. Aside from moving the name Giants and Nagi into an instance, Sol B hasn't had any additional updates in EverQuest Legends yet. But the level of the mobs in this area still make it a great place for XP in your 40s, and I do hope to see some more updates to this zone in the future. I really enjoy the aesthetic of the lava and fiery leveling environments. We kept moving and made our way over to the Ifriti Lord. I ended up picking up a pair of golden Ifriti boots the first time we took him down. And then his amethyst ring the second time we brought him down. Then we went back to farming some XP across the zone. We ended up taking down a lot of imps. And quite a few spiders as well. Before long, we made our way over to the fire giants. Even though the named mobs from this area have been moved into the raid instance, you can still find fire giants here to slay for XP. So that's what we did before making our way back across the zone, and eventually we dinged level 42. We backtracked a little bit at this point to check on a few of the drops from other named in the zone. The Cobalt King dropped his runed mithril bracers. And then Targan dropped a book that I believe was used in the monk's original epic quest. It'll be interesting to see how they approach epic quests here in EverQuest Legends. The Kobold Priest nearby dropped these pauldrons. And the Kobold Champion next door dropped the warrior-only Painbringer Sword. This is another item that used to be used for the Rogue's epic quest. We also took down the Kobold Noble and picked up the Staff of Writhing before hitting these names one more time. We saw some of the same item drops, but the Kobold Priest did drop this mithril breastplate on our second time around. After cleaning up on Sol B loot, we decided to try our hands at taking down Lord Nagafen. Now, classic raid mobs like Nagi are not up in open world zone instances. To access them, you have to speak to a voidling in a public version of the zone to spin up a personal or group raid instance. Since this was our very first group raid attempt on these characters, we decided to spin up an entry-level D0 raid zone to see how we would fare. We weren't sure if the group D0 Nagi would try to dispel us or not, so we popped on our Guise of Deceiver, Dark Elf Illusions, and began heading in. There were only a few fire giants to contend with along the way to King Tranix's throne room. Everything so far was pretty straightforward and didn't pose an issue. King Tranix had a pet and a couple of buddies with him, but we were able to take them down without any problem. King Tranix ended up dropping this polished mithril torque. And then we took out the rest of the encounter. One thing about group raid zones versus personal raid zones is that you'll be dealing with more trash mobs along the way. But at least we were earning XP as we were doing it. And then Crumb decided to use his bard to charm one of the fire giants before heading around the corner to the warlord. The warlord only had one ad in the room with him, and that charmed fire giant DPS helped us take him down a little bit quicker. Now, Bard Charm is not as great as the upgraded Enchanter Charm because you have to keep refreshing this one, but it does get the job done. The Warlord ended up dropping some Mithril Greaves, and then we kept working our way towards Nagy. And if you stop to take a screenshot along the way, make sure your group mates don't pull the bridge up and leave you in the lava. We cleared the two giants at the top of the bridge, as well as the pather from the hallway, without anybody else taking a swim in the lava. Now, if you're running a group version, this next room has 4 mobs in it. If you're running this raid on a solo version, you'll only find 2. These group raid mobs are scaled to a higher difficulty for group players versus solo players. There's also no difference in group loot versus solo loot. So unless you really like playing with your friends or significant other, it can be more efficient to run raids solo. Now this next part is where things got really dicey, and it's not something that I've seen people talk about in videos. In a solo raid zone, everything from here on out is clear to just run in and slay the dragon. In a group raid zone, that's not the case. Just inside this door, the 2 fire giant wizards, Magnus Rockle and Lord Nagafen, will all aggro the instant you step over the threshold. So we took down our previously charmed giant before dying, and then zerged back to take out one of the wizards just inside the door before dying again. We went ahead and buffed back up, and then took down the other wizard and Magnus Rockle. Now these mobs individually are not bad, but they do have a lot of hit points. I have to wonder if it's actually intended to have all of these aggro with Nagy in a D0 group instance. But we were able to finish clearing out the ads, and then we finally had Lord Nagafen isolated. Unfortunately, we went down one more time. So we ran back for our final take. Without all of the ads, it was a very long, but a fairly easy fight. I picked up an assortment of loot on the first go-round. I do really like these 100% weight reduction giant 10-slot bags. And then Crumb here gave me his Cloak of Flames. Individual loot drops is definitely a nice feature in EverQuest Legends, especially when that loot is tradable. By this point, we didn't have much more to go to level, so we ran around Soul Bees some more, taking down mobs to ding level 43. Then we decided a change of scenery was in order. So Crumb ported us to Tox, and we started heading towards our next destination, the Hole. So we made the jump, updated the zone to a difficulty 1, and began clearing. Now the Hole is another zone where you can stay for a larger level range. Essentially, we could have skipped Soul Bee, and we could easily stay here until we're 50. But that's not how we like to roll. However, the Hole really does capture that classic EverQuest sense where every pull feels like it could end in a disaster. The elementals are fine, but those rock golems are annoyingly tough. The zone hasn't been updated with new loot yet, but you can pick up some loam encrusted gear off of various mobs here. If you have a caster in your trio build, some of these items might be an upgrade. I did end up picking up a really nice bow of the underfoot off of a rock golem somewhere along the way, but I missed recording that. I will show it to you at the end though. Now leveling definitely takes longer in your 40s, but after a while, we dinged level 44. So we kept up the killing, and then we decided to move deeper into the dungeon. We eventually made our way over to the part of the Hole where the undead reside. And after some more killing, we eventually dinged level 45. We decided to stay in this area of the Hole to farm some more XP. We started clearing more in the cemetery area, and then ventured into the fortress. You can calm the mobs here to split pulls and easily enter. The undead are also a lot less resistant to magic than those rock golems, so they're easier to take down. If you have a bard or enchanter in your trio, they're also great mobs to charm. I'm still running my Paladin Monk Rogue, so I can't do that, but Crumb here's running a Warrior Cleric Bard, so he can take full advantage. There are a couple of names that pop in here as well, but we didn't need any of these withered leather items. We kept making our rounds in the fortress and finally hit level 46. By then, I'd had just enough of the Hole. But since it was a Saturday night, we decided to end things with another raid. So we headed back up to the top of the Hole and spun up a group raid instance for Master Yael. Now, Master Yael is much easier than Nagi. In retrospect, we probably should have taken this one down first. There are only a couple of trash mobs to take down on the other side of the rock, and then you have him all to yourself. Crumb chose to charm this imp for some extra DPS, but you could easily take him out as well. On this round, I picked up a new belt and a new weapon for my rogue build. And since this raid is so short and straightforward, we quickly repeated it on group difficulty 1. This time he dropped a two-handed sword with an AE damage effect. And then we took him down on group difficulty 2. And of course, group difficulty 3. And finally, group difficulty 4. And then we decided to call it a night. All right, guys, now that we are finished for the day, we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at some of the loot that we picked up along the way. Now, I didn't make any changes here on the top row. I'm still rocking the ornament of the Oracle rank 1 and rank 3 in my ears, and the Wood Elf Scout Bauble rank 2 in my neck, Rotting Fadark Mask rank 3 on my face, and a headband, the Sharpshooter's bandana at rank 5. We did go ahead and make one change here on this next row. I've got the Jarn's Amethyst ring at rank 5. This one dropped in Soul B. It's got a Spell Haste 2 exaltation on it. The Serpentine Bracer, still have that on my first wrist, and the Arband of Serrated Teeth at rank 4 on my arms. Also still have the Officer's Gauntlets at rank 4 and the Bracers of Battle at rank 5. Additionally, the Split Paw Keepsake Ring at rank 4. So we definitely have some room for some upgrades here on this row as well. Now we did swap out a few things on this next row. I did change out my shoulders for the Carnal Pauldrons, which are currently at a rank 5. These dropped in Soul B from the Cobalt Priest. Still have the pristine studded leather tunic at rank 7 and the pristine studded leather leggings at rank 7. This is probably just going to have to wait to upgrade until we're in the plains. Now the cloak, I did go ahead and equip this on my back. It's the Cloak of Flames, which dropped from Nagy. We only downed him the once. I did not get the cloak. This was the cloak that Crumb traded me. I did go ahead and I used some motes on it and I ranked it up. I know I could have waited to combine it with other items later, but I get a little click happy sometimes with motes, and here we are. So it's at rank 4 right now with a haste of 40%, and I do love that. In the waist, also another big upgrade here. Since we got the higher haste on the back, I was able to go ahead and take off my flowing black silk sash. We equipped this Brell's girdle at rank 4 from Master Yael. This is one we did down Master Yael multiple times, so I was able to combine an upgrade on that. In my feet, I still have the traveling Solarettes at rank 5. And I did go ahead and put the golden Afridi boot exaltation on this one that dropped for us in Soul B. It's got the enhancement haste rank 2. Now on the bottom row, this is where there were a lot of changes. So on my Ghoulbane, I still have this in my primary slot, but we did go ahead and swap out the proc exaltation on this one. Master Yael dropped this weapon called the Earthshaker, and it's a two-hand slash, which I'm not interested in swapping over to two-hand as of right now, but it had this proc on it for Earthquake. So I went ahead and put this on my weapon. I'm not sure how many times it'll proc. We're going to go ahead and give it a go, but it will be an AE up to 8 enemies nearby. So I do like that one. We'll see how well that works out. Another big upgrade here It was a drop from Master Yael as well. I went ahead and got the Serpent's Tooth. This is now up to rank 4. This has a higher backstab damage on it than what I was previously using. My previous one had 10. This one pushes this up to 13. So I went ahead and just moved over a couple of my exaltations here. I did go ahead and keep the short sword of Yakesha proc exaltation and popped it on this weapon. In the range, this is another upgrade. It's the Bow of the Underfoot at rank 4. This one dropped for us in the hole, just off a regular rock golem, I believe. And I did go ahead and move over my proc exaltation for the Sabertooth, from the Sabertooth short bow for the knee shot proc. I did also find in my bags, I guess at some point when I was leveling AA in the Warrens, I had picked up a different arrow. I don't think I mentioned this previously, but it's the Forlorn arrow. It's at rank 3. It's a little bit better than the one that I had in there previously. Now, previously I also had my rogue's stabby weapon in an any slot. Since I went ahead and moved this weapon over, I had an extra slot here. So I went ahead for now and just stuck a mithril breastplate at rank 3 in there to get my AC up a little higher, brought it up to the soft cap. It's got some extra hit points and agility on it as well. And then I still have the Blade Stopper shield here at rank 4 just for a little bit of extra stats as well. Taking a look at our moats, again, I used some. I do still have a few. I've got, one that's rank 6, some at rank 1, couple at rank 5, and a bunch at rank 2. Moat numbers should be a lot higher there, but again, I make questionable choices. And since we took down 2 different raid mobs, I do have 2 of these Void Touched Potential moats, and these are really special because they will take an item or a spell and rank it up an entire tier. So you really want to use these on upper tier level items or spells, ones that would otherwise cost you a lot of moats or farming of a lot of items to increase. These are limited to 3 per week, so we still have room. We can go and take down another raid mob and pick up another one, but then I'll have to start using them before we get more. We'll see. I'm not sure what I'm spending it on yet. I'll probably end up spending some on something I shouldn't, but we'll figure that out as we go. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.